Welcome back, Truth Seeker. September 22nd, 2019, NFL Week 3. Big upset on the road. The Saints beat the Seahawks. We had it picked correctly before the season began, and we stuck with that pick even with the injury of Drew Brees. We'll talk about just how fixed it all is. But again, a reminder, I've been talking about this for 5 years straight. You'll see things happen in a game, and within an instant, they have a stat up that's just like, wow. Who knew that? I mean, who was just ready to go on command with that in a moment? Russell Wilson crosses the goal line, cameras flashing around, and next thing you know, up on the screen, not even 10 seconds have gone by, Russell Wilson's first rushing touchdown since November 26th, 17. And so you plug in the date, November 26, 2017, to the date of his touchdown today, September 22nd, you realize it's 666 days. And if you were following my blog in real time, I was talking about how they were paying tribute to the beast Quake in this game. Of course, 666 is the number of the beast. Check this out. I want you to see what a ritual they did in the Seahawks game today. They were remembering the beast Quake, showing the instant replay, talking about it. And they said the NFL ranked it the 13th greatest play in NFL history, the Beast Quake. That was the year the Seattle Seahawks beat the Saints at home in the playoffs. They made the playoffs that year, having a 7-win, 9-loss season, which was the best in the NFC West, and the Saints were one of the favorites in the NFL to go the distance. Seahawks knocked them out, losing team first round with the Beast Quake. So what happened in the game is, while they were talking about that, as soon as they finished talking about it, I mean as soon, like it couldn't have been a glimpse of an eye, the Seattle running back, the current running back, goes sprinting past the line of scrimmage for a big gain, huge run. But at the end of the run, the ball pops out, and the Saints defense grabs the ball and runs it back for a touchdown. And think about what that does for the people who don't realize these games are rigged, who are so psychologically impacted. They just went from reliving one of the greatest moments of their life as a Seahawks fan to, wow, all of a sudden, what a coincidence, this super exciting play. And then, wait, what? Fumble touchdown against us? All within, moments. And after that, the Saints kicker missed the 33-yard extra point, so the score stayed at 13-7, which was a sick joke. 137 is the 33rd prime. They moved the extra point to 33 yards. Masonry equals 33 in Gematria. American football credited to Masonry. The Seahawks, the only team to win the Super Bowl on the 33rd day of the year. That'll change, though, after this season. This will be the second time the Super Bowl's on the 33rd day of the year, February 2nd. But notice in Satanic Gematria, NFL's 137, you get this 137 tribute. But there was so much more after that. So, notice the touchdown that made the score 13-7 was scored with 33 seconds on the clock. 33 seconds when the score becomes 13-7. And it was number 41 who scored the touchdown, and they just got done talking about the Beast Quake. Or excuse me, you know what? It was 13-7 and then they scored again. I take it back. They scored again. They hadn't quite updated the scoreboard yet. But it was number 41 who scored right after that. And in the Beastquake game, the Seahawks won with 41 points. We'll come back to that. 41's the 13th prime. They call it the 13th greatest game ever in NFL history. It was on a date with 13, date numerology. Also, one of the storylines for the game was how Pete Carroll took a football off the face before the game, and that's why his nose was bandaged up and bleeding. And I was just laughing. I was thinking, I don't think that's what this is about. I think this is a humiliation ritual, because I was expecting the Seahawks to lose today. And the reason why is, with the Saints winning, they became 4-4 at the Seahawks in the regular season. Saints equals 44, Seattle equals 44. Just like how, by the Raiders losing to the Vikings today, the Vikings became 4-4 at home versus the Raiders, Vikings 44. Same type of rituals across the board. And they went from the camera with, Peyton to, they were going back and forth between Peyton and Carroll on the sideline. Peyton's grinning, the other guy's, his nose is bleeding. So, shortly after, the game just gets out of hand after they talk about the Beastquake thing. the camera followed this guy Hill, but in front of him is number 13, who had just scored the touchdown here. And just moments earlier, they're talking about the 13th greatest play. Now all of a sudden, the score is just accelerating for the Saints. Notice the name Hill equals 41. Again, 41's the 13th prime. Number 13's in front of him, who just scored the touchdown here. And again, they're still talking about the Beast Quake. Notice the Beast Quake was a 67-yard touchdown run. 67's the 19th prime. Here we are in 2019. Saints and Seattle both equal 19, and when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, 44. Score of that game was 36-41. January 8th, 2011. That was a date with 13 numerology. 1 plus 8 plus 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 1. 13. 41's the 13th prime. They referred to it as the 13th greatest game in the world. The next thing you know, defensive touchdown, then number 41 scores, then number 13 scores, and the game's just out of hand just like that. And adding insult to injury, number 41 got a pass interference call, which took the Saints to the goal line, and then he scored the touchdown on the next play to give them 33 points. And then for no reason at all, well, we know for what reason. They went for a two-point conversion, so they stayed on 33 points. They failed. Score was 33-14. Added up, 47 Beast equals 47. 47. And hold on, let me find my post here that I wanted to show you from when I first started my blog. When I first started my blog, I didn't know the numbers as well, but I could pick up on simple patterns. I wrote this article September 17th, 2014. That's crazy to think about. So 5 years and 5 days ago. And I wrote about, with my basic understanding of this knowledge back then, I wrote about the ritual that went on with the hiring of Pete Carroll and the firing of Jim Mora Jr. and how 33 was a big part of that ritual. And how the Seahawks would go on to be the only team to win the Super Bowl on the 33rd day of the year, which was foreshadowed in a Simpsons cartoon. And talking about the Beast Quake and 47, and it's just the same things year after year. Seattle, if I didn't point that out earlier, Seattle is a city on the 47th parallel. Beast is 47. Today you get Russell Wilson in this Beast Quake tribute game scoring his first rushing touchdown since 666 days ago. 666. Russell Wilson up here in Seattle, he's like... he's probably the most popular man alive. Everybody loves Russell Wilson. The kids are all wearing their Russell Wilson jerseys. And what I've been saying for years is they don't realize this man is one of the biggest sociopaths in the Pacific Northwest. He tends to be a spiritual man, a caring man. Meanwhile, he goes out there and plays in rig football for millions of dollars weekend after weekend, selling out all the people who he tells them to believe in him. Should be obvious what happened there in Super Bowl. What number was that? I've lost track of time. Was it Super Bowl 51? No. Super Bowl 49, that's what it was. They didn't hand off to Marshawn Lynch. For the first time all year on the 1-yard line, they threw the ball in a massive numerical ritual for an interception. The 21st pass of the game on February 1st, 2-1, got intercepted by number 21 with 21 seconds left. Jokes. Just another thing we talked about, yesterday was how what was strange about today's game is how it was synced up with Drew Bledsoe, the Washington State quarterback who got injured, who gave birth to Tom Brady against the New York Jets 18 years ago, pretty much today. And against Tom Brady, a Washington State University quarterback made his first start against him today. And he was the 199th pick of the draft, like Tom Brady was the 199th pick of his draft. And today at the half, Tom Brady has 199 yards passing. Again, the 46th prime, Tom Brady equals 46. Michigan 46. Patriots 46. So there was that. Also in the headlines today, former college football player, NFL player dead at age 32. He's died today. Well, Wikipedia says September 21st, but if you read the articles, they're saying that he died today in his sleep, September 22nd. So the thing about September 22nd is it's the day leaving 100 days left in the year. This is the 100th NFL season. You're getting the news on this day. He was, well, first of all, look at his full name. Javon Bryce Sneed. His full name is just like blood sacrifice, 86 and 257. 86, 257. 86 to get rid of. They're saying this was a surprise death. No one saw it coming. He was 32 years old. NFL's 32. America's 32. 32 teams. America's game. Today's date has 43 numerology. Football's 43. Masonics 43. Killings 43. RIP's 43. American football credited to the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. And this code of letters and numbers is very much Masonic. Also today, just in sports, there's going to be the first NBA game in India. And guess what team's playing there out of all the NBA teams? Before I show you, just think about it. What NBA city would be just so right to play in India? Pacers? What's their name? Indiana? The Indiana Pacers are going to go play NBA basketball in India. Love it. And just to review the afternoon games, again, we like the Saints to make a statement against the Seahawks. Saints are a very interesting team this year. Look at how well this stuff synced up. The Saints were 3-4 at the Seahawks before the game. As I showed you, Seattle and Saints both equal 44, so does week 3. Saints evened it up at 4-4 in Seattle with a win today. And I noticed that if the Seahawks lost, they would be 6-8 versus the Saints overall. 6-8. Seattle-Washington equals 68. By the way, today was 68 days from Russell Wilson's birthday. Bridgewater's 68. And Theodore Bridgewater Jr., his full name is 337, the 68th prime. So how perfect is that? And this is exactly what we talked about. So down here I said close call. I think Saints make a statement. Saints to cover was the pick. And before the season began, we circled this as a big game right here and one that looked like it was good for the Saints. So they got it done. And here, other games this afternoon. Steelers at 49ers. What I wrote about today is today has 50-date numerology, plus it's September 22nd, 22/9, like 229, the 50th prime number. In Gematria, San Francisco equals 50. That's why they hosted Super Bowl 50. That's why they were once 5-0 in Super Bowls. Pittsburgh equals 50. Steelers equals 50. NFL Week 1, Sunday Night Football, Brady became 5-0 versus the Steelers at home. Brady equals 50. So it was the perfect day to become 5-0. Just the one concern is there was a lot of 103 rituals this week, which we identified. I said if one was to be broken, it would probably be this one here, and it was. Garoppolo did improve to 5-0 at home, 11-2 in the regular season. He's born November 2nd. And with all the 103 rituals, what's really strange is today is 103 days after Joe Montana's birthday. So all the 103 going around. Rodgers from the Bay Area got his 103rd regular season win. Broncos equals 103. Matt Ryan stayed on 103 regular season wins by losing. The Thursday night football game was all about 103. Day leaving 103 days left in the year. 103 days after the death of Andrew Jackson. Again, that's the 27th prime number. A lot of 27s on the board today. So what I wrote for this game, if you follow my advice, is the San Francisco 50 riddle looks like gold, but this is the week of 103, so be careful. And that's the way I felt about this game. If it wasn't for the 103, you got to ride 50 on San Francisco, and that's what I explained. When San Francisco and 50 comes up in sports, it hits probably 8 out of 10 times. It's a law of averages. Texans and Chargers, I said this game was very close, and I got on the wrong side of this one. So I told people I wasn't real comfortable with this game. I always try to give people a fair analysis. There was some things there with Rivers' record that could go for or against him. He had a chance to become 4-1 versus the Texans or fall to 3-2. Tricky because LA's 41 and Houston's 32 and 41. So he had a chance at his 70th home win on the 70-date numerology. So Rivers had some things for him and some things against him. And it was like that with their head-to-head record and looking down the road ahead. So very tough call. I was on the wrong side of that one. And Giants at Bucks. This was another close call, but I went with the Giants here in this one. I said, something you'll notice, when a team has a halftime tribute to a former player, almost always the team loses. And the Bucks had a huge lead at halftime today. I think they were up 18 points at halftime and lost this game with a gimme field goal at the end. Show you something funny. They lost with a 34-yard field goal, right? 34-yard field goal was no good on the 70-date numerology. You see that? No good, 70-34. That's how the Bucks lost today. Gimme field goal. But I like the Giants in this one because it's the way it goes almost every time. For halftime, they retired the jersey of Rondé Barber, who used to play defense for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and who had a twin brother who played for the New York Giants, Tiki Barber, who was a running back. And I said, see, there's just something deeper there. There's a reason. Obviously, they're doing this in this Giants-Bucks game for a reason. Giants end up winning on a big comeback after the halftime ceremony. And I guarantee people who follow me, they doubled down on the Giants with that big deficit at halftime because that's where you get the big odds by following this knowledge. And something I was wrong about, and I've explained this to people, when there's a perfect alignment with a star player, they'll usually have a good game, but sometimes it's also the game where they get hurt. And so far this year, we've done a great job of identifying players for having good games. I identified Saquon Barkley to have a good game. Instead, he got injured early. And I'm like, damn. I mean, this happens probably like 1 out of 10 times when there's a great alignment. And I was thinking with the whole Tiki Barber and ritual, I was thinking Saquon Barkley was going to go off. The game was 225 days after his birthday. The game was at Raymond James Stadium, which equals 225. Thought he was going to light it up there. Instead, he went down. So Giants, and then Panthers at Cardinals. This game's my biggest disappointment of the week, and I feel like I jinxed it by giving a little hint in the last video. But Panthers usually put out the 101, and the Cardinals with a win would have been 1-0-1 at home, and they would have been 1-1-1. Panthers also do the Black Panther riddles. Panthers is 1-0-1, like how they would have been 1-0-1 the Cardinals, and they would have been 1-1-1 for the season. Black Panthers 1-1-1. Rivera would have got his 63rd all-time loss. Cardinals 63. It was 46 days after Murray's birthday. Wins 46. Like, everything was here, so I'm kind of scratching my head at this game. Some people who follow me think they flip some games so that we don't crush it as much as we deserve to for exposing this rigged crap. And sometimes a game like this, I'm like, really? Really? I mean, everything was there. Every element was there. How didn't that one come through? But it does happen sometimes. It does, but still for the day, I mean, we only got one wrong in the morning games, and we did fine in the afternoon as well. So all in all, great day. And again, I only charge $5 a month to teach you this knowledge. So it's not like you just have to rely on me. I teach you how to do this so you can be independent. And I encourage people to use their own mind and empower themselves with this. So for all the little kids out there with the Russell Wilson jerseys, I suggest, you keep that off your back. He's Agent 666. He's not the man he pretends to be. Oh, by the way, with regards to 666 being the number of the beast taught about in Revelation, the 66th book of the Bible, number of the beast is 66. Marshawn Lynch is 66. And if you look at the King James Version, that verse begins, here is wisdom, period. Here is wisdom equals 66. So, leave it there. Congrats to the winners. Thanks for everyone who supports the Patreon. Feels good to give back. Until next time.